Welcome back to the Stick 'em Up podcast. Burundi, we have a good bit of news here to talk about on this episode. We got a couple. We got obviously our stars of the week. We'll be talking about. We got a big extension that, frankly, I didn't think was getting signed anytime soon. I thought this one was going towards at least February. Thought it was going to be a later one. We got some injury news. We got some records. We got some cool stuff going on with the PWHL. I'm very excited to talk about. With all of that said, where do you want to start?
Well, I mean, we got to start right at the beginning. Riders are 2025 Grey Cup champions, beat Montreal, whooped their asses, left all of the Calgary fans, the bum-ass Winnipeg fans all taking their ball and going home crying. So, absolutely fantastic weekend, fantastic game.
Really fun game.
Couldn't be happier. Just incredible, and had to start there. Had to throw that out there to kickstart this off.
Oh, absolutely. We both got the jerseys on. Like, no, we've been celebrating. It's been a lot of fun. And yeah, it's funny. You know, we live in Calgary, right? And I've got plenty of buddies who are Stamps fans. And it was so funny talking to some of them in like in the group chat beforehand. I was like, are you planning on going somewhere to watch a game? Are you watching it all? What's going on? And so many of them are like, I just haven't been paying attention to the CFL for a bit. I don't care that much. But like, these are guys that like I all know have gone to at least one or two games this year, right? Like they're just a little salty. Their team's not in there. Maybe even more so that the Riders are. So.
I mean, when you cheer for a dog shit team, you know what, you probably do end up losing a little bit of interest. So can't say blame them, but not the case for us this year. So
no,
we're gonna enjoy this while we're on top. And
oh, absolutely,
yeah,
the turnaround in the CFL is crazy. Like,
yeah,
there is so many different rules to how you run your teams and how they are constructed that like I keep up with it, but not super close. It's crazy how like 1 year you can be a bottom team, the next year you could be a top team and win the Grey Cup. You could be right back to the bottom next year. You could stay on top. Like it almost feels
unless you're
like
Edmonton, then you're just dog shit year after year after year, and you have one of the best quarterbacks in the league, but you don't treat them like one, and so I mean for them it's not quite the same, but yeah, you're right. For every other team, there's a lot of turnaround, and
it almost feels like kind of like the CHL or something like that in that way, where these teams like they could be really good, but obviously a lot of that can come from having those high end older players that once they all graduate, all of a sudden you're like instantly into a kind of a rebuild. Obviously, it's different because that's like a juniors thing, but
yeah, no, yeah, absolutely, and it's also one of those things again when there's only 9 teams in the league, that there should be 10, but with only 9 teams, I mean, it's pretty easy to build the team back up if you have an off year, because again, there's only so many teams you're competing with, and the amount of incredible talent that just keeps coming up year after year, can make it easy to build up a team quick and fast, and then teams have shown that it's easy to maintain that as well. And prevent that downfall. So
and you got to try and find these great players to be a winning team, but also you can't find players that are too good, because then they get poached by the NFL, because obviously anyone offered an NFL contract is like, I'm going to do that. Yeah. So it's this very, very strange balance that way.
Yeah, but it's awesome. Love the league, love the game, and love that Saskatchewan won, and hopefully going to go back to back next year. So I look forward to talking about this all again next year.
Yeah. One thing that we can talk about here, though, is the big extension that happened over the past few days, and that is the LA Kings extending Adrian Kempe for 8 years, an AAV of 10.625. That's a lot of money for Adrian Kempe.
I mean, it is, but again, at the same time, the salary cap is going up. This is a guy that, is a very consistent 30 goal scorer for the Kings. He is the kind of the driving force of that team. For what it's worth, I believe he is their best player. Um, and I mean, because how old is he right now? 20,
29. Just turned 29
29. So
2 months ago.
so yeah,
They've got him for the rest of his
I'm
career.
fine with it. It feels weird seeing that Adrian Kempe is getting more than $10 million, but that's
That
just where we're at with the league
absolutely.
now. And this is a guy that has done it consistently year after year after year. Like we're starting to
Yeah.
see guys where they have one good year and they're already getting 9. We see guys have a good 30 games and they're now getting 9 mil. So this is a guy
Yeah.
that has been doing this consistently year after year and is getting rewarded for it. And if you're the LA Kings, again, if you are trading Adrian Kempe, your window is closed then. You don't have the
Yeah.
pieces to
100%.
like, and they have a very good team right now. But if you remove Adrian Kempe, you don't have that. You're not going to have the long term success, especially when you look at Kopitar, who is going to be in his last year, and Drew Doughty, who is still playing very well, but not a lot of time left. Without Adrian Kempe, in my opinion, and I like both these players a lot. You can't build a Stanley Cup winning team around Quinton Byfield and Kevin Fiala. I like them both a lot, but if that's your two top forwards, I have a hard time seeing them be able to build a
Kevin
Stanley
Fiala
Cup winning
feels
team
like
around them.
Kevin Fiala feels like a good third or fourth best forward on a cup winning team. I think you could probably build around a Quinton Byfield. I think he's still young enough, he's good enough, and keeps
Potentially,
improving.
could. There's just a lot of kind of ups and downs, and um, again, I'm still very high on him. I think he's a great player, but I
Yeah, he is
haven't
23
quite.
at this point, so he's
What was his
he's
stats
getting
last year?
23 goals, 54 points, very similar to the year before, which was 20 goals, 55 points. So he's been pretty healthy the last 3 years. He's just under a point per game this year, 17 and 20. Only 4 of them are goals. But he's a big body. He's, what is he, 6'5"? 6'5", 225 pounds.
He's a big
And
body, yeah.
he is slowly getting better, which I think is important to note just because he was a part of that 2020 draft class that inexplicably, other than Stützle just came out of the womb NHL ready player apparently. But everyone else from that draft class seems to have taken multiple years longer than most prospects, and
Mhm.
I think Byfield's really starting to
And
come into his own.
Yeah, and again, I don't think he's a bad player, but I just haven't seen enough of him to be like, you can remove all these other guys off the team and just have him, and he's kind of the guy you build everything around, right? Again, I would love to be wrong because I really do like Quinton Byfield, and I do agree with you,
Yeah.
he is getting better, but again, at the same time, if he's on that and line now, you go into next year and you have no Kopitar now and no Kempe for him to play with, and it's kind of just him
Oh
and
yeah, it's not
Fiala.
great.
Yeah, it wouldn't be good. So again, for Kempe, it is weird seeing him over 10 mil, but
That's the way
where
the
the
league
league
is
is
going.
at now, it's that's what a guy like Adrian Kempe is going to go for now. Those guys they're going to start to be in that 10 to 11 range.
Yeah. And one thing that I do
Takes
think
some
is
getting used to.
interesting, I'm excited to see how some of these players feel about the contracts they've signed in the last 2-3 years in 4 or 5 years. Like, uh, Mikko Rantanen, Mitch Marner, these guys, they've took discounts to sign where they are, in Vegas and Dallas. They didn't take massive discounts at the time, but
Mhm.
they both could have got 13 plus mil at least on the open market. And they took
Yeah,
their 12 and a half or whatever for 8 years each. Um,
yeah.
but they're like, yeah, we're taking, maybe they call it a haircut. Like it's not too much it's not too much of the money. And plus they're both those teams obviously tax-free states. But I do wonder if they're like, yeah, we're okay losing a couple mil over the total thing for the team. I wonder if we're going to start seeing some of these guys in a few years, like, uh, you know, an upper middle six guy like a a really good second liner in 3 years might be signing for 14 mil. And like, I do wonder if we'll see some of these guys be like, I am glad for the team, but like, fuck, I wish I got some money, man. Like I could have got
Yeah.
bank. Like, I
Um,
wonder if we're gonna see some of these guys be like, I wish I, maybe earned myself more.
I think potentially. I think the biggest thing is whether or not they win a Stanley Cup, right? Like if Vegas wins it in the next couple years or
Yeah,
Dallas, then those guys like you mentioned, Marner and Ranton, they won't even care because on
yeah.
the flip side of it, if they both, said like I want 15 or I'm not signing here, then they're potentially you don't end up winning that cup because then you can't trade for X player or you can't re-sign, X player. So I think that's kind of the big thing. But yeah, I think you're right that they might have those thoughts down the road if they still don't have a cup. Well, I guess Rantanen has a cup, but guys like him. Um, but
Yeah.
yeah, I think that's definitely something that could be a possibility down the road. Um, yeah, I'm just happy that players are getting paid, what they're worth. If the salary cap wasn't rising, it's probably like an 8x8 for Kempe, and that looks
Yeah.
great. But again, 10.6 in 2 years, that's gonna, you know, that could be like the new 8x8. Like 8 mil could end up being 11 mil down the road because of how
It
much the
probably
cap
will
is going to
be,
keep going up.
frankly.
Yeah,
So
so I like this deal for LA. I like for Kempe.
it's got a little
Couldn't afford
shock
to lose
value
him.
to it, but
I,
it's
absolutely, and
in reality, I think it's a fair deal for both sides.
yeah, and it's going to take some getting used to it. These new kind of deals that are going to be rolling out, and seeing what guys are getting compared to what we're kind of used to because we're kind of accustomed to a certain way that contracts went for so long, and now we're finally getting something different, and so takes a little bit of getting used to, but it's better for the players, it's better for the league. So
Yeah. And we have one other signing. This one comes off the heels of their contract being terminated by Toronto. That's David Kampf. So him and Toronto terminated his deal, and he signed with Vancouver. 1 year, 1.1 mil AAV. I love this for Vancouver. Like, very very cheap option. He's a great depth player, a phenomenal penalty killer. Like, that's basically what you're picking this guy up for, to be a defensive specialist and a penalty killer.
mhm.
And yeah, it just makes all the sense in the world for Vancouver, for him, for Toronto. Like, he's been a scratch. I think he got sent down to the minors for a while.
And
In
I'm pretty
Toronto
sure he just
because
refused to report to the AHL. He just said
yeah,
I'm not going, I'm not playing here. So
yeah,
Toronto's like, well,
that
we're
because
gonna terminate your deal.
yeah, I think he did it for the purpose of getting it terminated because you know
And like this is
clearly
a
there
scenario
was
that wins
interest.
for every party. Like this is great for Vancouver, it's great for Camp, and it's great for Toronto.
Yeah, they get that cap relief. Like, now they don't have to, get rid of a guy like Yarncroke or something like that. So yeah, it works out for everybody in the end.
Yeah, I don't have much more to add on that. It's yeah, I just think it's a good little bit of
Tidy
business
business.
that yeah is beneficial for every party.
Yeah. Um. Up next, I think here is where we will do the weekly mock trade.
Oh, the weekly mock trade.
The weekly mock trade. It's my turn to do it this week. Brundi, I have come up with a trade here. This is a trade that we've definitely talked about before, probably multiple
Okay.
times in theory, but I did a little bit of research and I moved around some numbers, and so I think something around this core of the deal is what we're looking at. The two teams involved are the Montreal Canadiens and the Calgary Flames.
Yeah, I figure this is where it was going.
Yeah. So the Montreal Canadiens, and we can talk maybe a bit more about it in the news section as well. But since it is relevant, Kirby Doc for the Canadiens just went down with a fractured foot. He's expected to miss 4 to 6 weeks. So
What did you say? Yeah, it's good to just throw that in because
for
that's kind of
context,
why this deal would make sense if it were to happen.
especially
I
with
just will
Newhook
say
being out
it's
as
yeah,
well.
and it's kind of maybe it's the SEU curse we put on Kirby Doc or something because it was just last week we were talking about how Newhook's. It was actually just our last episode. Newhook's down with
Yeah,
an injury, was doing so
2
good
in a
as a
row.
second line center. Kirby Doc kind of has to fill that role now, and if he can have success there, and if he can't, then Montreal might need to look to make a deal or something. And now, yeah, we're kind of looking at a deal might happen because yeah, Kirby Doc is done for 4 to 6 weeks, fractured foot. Um, so let's see how you can save Montreal here and
Yeah.
fix that.
So Montreal in this deal is receiving Nazem Kadri at originally I had it at 2 mil retained, and the more I looked at it, I was like, cap going up. It's for 4 years left on his deal. To maximize the value you're getting back, you want to maximize the value you're giving. So I have them retaining a full 50%. This would leave Montreal with a guy like Nazem Kadri, who had 35 goals and like 70 points last year. They'd be having him for 4 years at 3.5 mil as a cap hit. That's really
Pretty
nice.
good. Absolutely.
The price might be rather steep for him, though. Um, I have Calgary receiving David Reinbacher, Montreal's first round pick, either this year or next year. So I think that would be up to the Canadians. So if they want to give it this year, then they can. If they want to keep this year, then they can. But then Calgary would get their next year unprotected. So
Yeah.
it's like a sliding one, but the only stipulation is if the Canadians say so.
Okay.
And Calgary also gets Josh Anderson, which is frankly more value on the Canadian side. This is more of a cap dump. He has 2 years left at 5.5 mil. He also has a 5-team no trade. It's only 5 teams, but there is a decent chance that Calgary's on that list. So they might have to, see if he's willing for that. But that's the core of it. So Montreal ends up actually gaining cap space from this deal because they'd be gaining 2 mil in cap space because their 5.5 is off the books for Anderson, and they're only bringing in 3.5 from Kadri. They get their second line center really cheap. Um, they would be giving up David Reinbacher, but they've already got Lane Hudson. They've already got Noah Dobson. Is there a ton of room for this guy? And then obviously first, which could be this or next year for the Calgary, which they love because they're going into the rebuild. This obviously helps Calgary also tank a bit extra this year by moving Kadri early in the season instead of like at the deadline. Bit of veteran presence while moving them out as well. Just
Mhm.
a guy who can kind of stick up for some of the young guys that way. Um, I do have another part on written down on here, but I want to get your thoughts on that trade as it's been laid out so far.
I'm very curious to see if yeah, what the other party meant. This is a very hard reject if I'm Calgary.
If you're Calgary,
Um, yeah, absolutely.
okay,
That to me is if you're attaining 50%, that's just not enough value coming back. I know people are still high on, or well, I mean, I still think Reinbacher is going to be a decent player at the NHL level, but again, there's already those injuries that can be scary, and so I mean, he was a fifth overall pick, but I mean, because of the injuries and whatnot, his value to me, you know, right now because there's still a lot of uncertainty is around a second round pick. As crazy as it is to
okay,
say, because he was only the fifth overall pick in 2023, but uh, from the year he was drafted, the next year, so his draft year plus one, he played 11 games in the AHL, played 35 games in Switzerland. Last year, he only played 10 total games with the Laval
don't love that.
Rockets. in the AHL, and then this year he's played 7. So he did miss some time with an injury. It looks like he is back now.
What are
And
his numbers in those games? It's not a lot of games, but
7 games, 0 goals, 2 assists, -2, 4 penalty minutes.
all right.
And then last year, in the 10 games, 2 goals, 3 assists for 5 points, 10 penalty minutes, +5.
It's a little something. +5 in 10 games, not bad.
And another thing is for Calgary as well is he's a right-handed defenseman, which
normally comes at a premium, but in their case, they have
for Calgary they
plenty
have
of them.
so many, which is why I'm banging the drum that you got to trade Rasmus Anderson because he's a right-hand defenseman, and you've already got Zane Perek, you've got Uyghur, and then you've got so many other prospects that are all righties. So, yeah.
Okay, nope, that's fair. Well, it's a good thing that you say no from Calgary's side because the extra stipulation I did have is I thought you were flipping me off there.
Not yet.
The extra stipulation is to add value to what Calgary's getting, because, like you said, they're giving up. They're a great player, their best offensive player, on a phenomenal deal. Like getting him for 4 years at 3.5 is such a steal. And they'd be freeing up cap space by taking on Josh Anderson.
Yeah.
So one guy that they could also add to the deal, going to Calgary, would be Michael Hague.
There we go. That's what I was waiting for.
Yeah.
Now we're getting somewhere.
Michael Hague, drafted 21st overall by the Canadiens in 2024. Last season, he had 34 points in 33 games with University of Michigan. And he currently has 19 points in 14 games this season with them as well. So improvement and over a point per game both years in the University League. So that's very, very good. He's a right-handed centerman. You know, Flames fans have been saying for a good bit now they're looking for that next high-end scoring forward, that star centerman. I don't know if he's necessarily going to be that, but he looks like he's going to be a damn good player. So, yeah, if they added Michael Hague to the deal,
now
is
we're
it
getting
closer?
somewhere with it. Absolutely, because, and that was kind of the thing when you were going through it is if it didn't involve him, I would just say no matter what for Calgary. I think because you kind of look where Calgary's at right now, and their biggest need to address is probably their center position long term. You know, you drafted Sam Honzik, who has kind of gone over to the wing, and I think he's just better suited on the wing. I wouldn't keep him at center. Connor Zary is a pretty a good player, but again, I prefer him on the wing as opposed to being a centerman. You drafted Cole Reshney last year, who I think will be a good center. So you really only got one guy going forward that is a center for you in terms of your younger guys. So adding Michael Hage there definitely helps. And a close comparison is when, and I was described a bit younger at the time when the deal happened, but when San Jose traded Thomas Hertl, they retained whatever it was 1.5. They sent him to Vegas. They got David Edstrom, who was a former first-round pick in the year prior, and they got another first-round draft pick there. So the equivalent, you basically got 2 first-round picks. So if you're trading Kadri, and he's a little bit older, but 50% retained, that takes him down to 3.5.
Like that's
it's probably going to be your best forward prospect who's not currently playing, and that's Michael Hage. He's a center, a first-round pick. I don't even think you need David Reinbacher because, again, I just don't see what Calgary's going to do with him. So what was Montreal for picks here? So yeah, that first, and maybe add on like a second or something, and Michael Hage, and there you go. I think you're definitely on the right track with this though. Like that's you're right in that area, I think, for it now. Absolutely.
Yeah, I figure
if Montreal wants to get rid of Reinbacher, like if you're Calgary, I mean, sure, take him because he could turn into an absolute stud, and then like if they're willing to throw him in, I mean, take him. But
it's not really a need in Calgary.
the main piece.
it was just kind of thing to boost the value onto their side, and it's just something that it just doesn't feel like there's a spot for him in Montreal at this point, really. And yeah, but I definitely, yeah, once I started looking into it, I definitely thought Michael Hage, like that was a definitely something that Calgary would want. And obviously the first rounder is like you just need that to boost the value. They they're gonna want more first to just keep drafting more guys like Michael. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think that's definitely something that could happen. And uh right now is time to strike while the iron's hot if they want to do something like this, because they
Yeah.
need the center depth, and they definitely need it now. And if they got him now, or even like beginning of December, that's a long time that he can kind of acclimate with the team, get some chemistry going with some of those guys, like
Yeah.
have them going good going into the playoffs, all that stuff. So, and all
And
for the Flames to more games you don't have them, probably going to
yeah.
lose a couple more. Some real good guys in this draft.
And yeah, because if you're the Flames, you get Gavin McKenna first overall. He's a winger. He's not a center. And again, you, you're gonna need centers in the future to play your young wingers with. And for Montreal especially, because Kadri would come in on the second line behind Suzuki, and he's like the perfect guy you put alongside Ivan Demidov. He's a terrific young player, but he's more of a pass first guy. So
Kadri
it's
can bury it.
beneficial to put a shooter with him.
Yep.
And Kadri's a shooter; he can score goals. So I think that would be a combination that would work really well. I know Montreal wouldn't like to give up Michael Hage because it's the thing I always say: if you're a player and you get drafted by Toronto or Montreal, the fan base pumps you up to be the best prospect in the world, and so they're very high on him. I know they're not going to want to move him, but if you're going to trade for a guy like Kadri, and if it's going to be 50% retained, yeah, he's going to have to probably be a part of it.
Yeah. They can't be thinking like that, right? Like you're no longer in the rebuild. You're trying to win now, Montreal.
Yeah.
Would it be that shocking if they ended up winning the division this year? Like it
No,
Yeah, they're not my first pick probably, but like they're probably in my top 3.
I wouldn't. I
Like
wouldn't be shocked if they end up. I mean, I did pick them to miss the playoffs before the season started, but if they won the division, I wouldn't be shocked though. Yeah,
yeah.
like I wouldn't. I
So
wouldn't bet on them to win it, but
you
they
you need
very easily
that
could do it.
you need that center, and Hage is probably not going to be that guy for 2-3 years at least.
Yeah,
He's
and
not even in the
you
NHL.
and yeah, you hold on to him. He definitely could be a great second line center for you in 3 to 6 years, somewhere in that range. But again, if you're trying to win now with the guys you have,
That
or if you're Montreal, do you just sit there and say, we're going to keep making the playoffs, but we're going to keep going out in the first round. Maybe we'll get to the second. You'll basically be Toronto if you just sit there and
yeah.
not because I mean obviously Toronto is going all in year after year, but the same sense of you're not getting any success in the playoffs if you're Montreal. If you're like, we're not going to trade this because we want to add them to what we have. It's you're no team has ever well maybe not even the Florida Panthers actually. No team walks in day one of the regular season and says, this is our roster and we're going to ride it all year and we're going to win the cup. That just
Yeah.
doesn't happen. You got to be making moves. You got to address the holes in your lineup.
Well,
And
who are some of the
second line
top
center is a big hole.
Yeah, like who are some of the top teams? The Avs went out, they got Brock Nelson. Both the Stars and the Hurricanes went out and got Mikko Rantanen.
Yeah.
Uh, Tampa got Gordon Bjorkstrand, Seth Jones to Florida. All these teams were bringing in guys because that's what you have to do to win. So
You just look at the recent cup winners. Florida, they grabbed, I mean, it's so many different guys, but it started with Matthew Tkachuk. And then it's, we need help in our bottom six. So they went out and they got guys there. Oh, our defense is weak. So you grabbed Seth Jones. You grabbed, you grabbed Forsling off waivers, I think it was. When Tampa Bay won, their third line was dog shit. So what do? You go and you grab Blake Coleman. You grab Barclay Goodrow. All of a sudden, you've got the best third line in hockey. Pittsburgh, they went out and got Phil Kessel. They went out and got Carl Hagelin. boom, create the best third line. Vegas, I mean, take your pick from the 5 million players they trade for.
Yeah.
You got to trade out assets, first round picks, prospects, whatever it may be, to get good players to win now.
Yeah.
And with the way the Atlantic's kind of looking this year, yeah, if you're Montreal, probably go all in.
Yeah. And
The
like
Atlantic feels pretty wide open.
You would have Kadri for 4 years. Like even if he falls off and becomes a 15 goal, 35 point guy, that frankly, that's still not even just market value. That's still good value for 3.5 mil. Like as a guy who plays physical and stuff. So like,
and the leadership he brings and what he can bring to that young Canadians locker room as well. I
it's
think
basically a bust-proof trade for Montreal.
Yeah.
Frankly, like unless Kadri like falls off a cliff to the point of like almost retiring by the end of the year or something. Like it would be great for them, even if Hague goes to be phenomenal for the Flames. It's not about that, especially if you win a cup. It doesn't matter if he wins a Hart Trophy for the Flames. If you win a cup, you at best or at absolute worst for you tied. So
yeah.
No,
I like the path you're on with it. Absolutely. I think it's definitely a deal that can make sense for both sides. But yeah, my biggest thing I can say from it is, if you're Calgary and you are trading Kadri to Montreal, I think Michael Hage has that's the one thing has to be included. If you want to mess around with some other pieces, and in your case, especially with Montreal actually gaining cap space from the deal,
with Josh Anderson,
that's got to be the non-negotiable for Calgary is getting a center back.
Well, yeah. So after that trade, they would be at a hair over 5 mil in cap space, so they could still make another move after that.
And they got the pieces to do it if they wanted.
Their window is open right now. They gotta want to win now because they're not getting Suzuki, Caulfield, Slavkovsky. They're not getting all of them for under 8 mil each on their next deals. So you gotta do it while those are some of the best in the league.
You got to strike while you still can. Absolutely. No, I really like that deal from you though.
Sweet.
Well done.
All right. Well, let's get into the rest of the news we got here. Burundi, do you want to hit us with the 3 stars of the week?
Yeah, the 3 stars of the week for this past week. Just a reminder, this is the NHL's list. It's not ours. The NHL's 3 stars of this past week. Number 1, Jason Robertson. I believe I have the stats here.
I think he had a natural hat trick the other night.
He did, yeah. Jason Robertson, 3 games played, 6 goals, 3 assists for 9 points.
It's pretty damn good.
Brinkett, 3 games, 5 goals, 1 assist, 6 points. Second star of the week. And third, Quinn Hughes, 2 games, no goals, but 7 assists for 7 points.
Fair enough. No, they all had fantastic weeks.
All great weeks for these guys. And that's kind of why I like doing this segment is, we talk about, we're going to be talking about Jason Robertson a lot throughout the year because, again, he is still unsigned and he's probably licking his chops after seeing Kempe's deal. We talk about Quinn Hughes almost every episode. He's a stud. We love him. Alex DeBrincat, though, we don't talk a whole lot about. So it's fun to do it this way. And we get to kind of highlight some of these guys that normally don't get as much love. And yeah, Alex DeBrincat has been, him and Dylan Larkin, honestly, both of them have been incredible for Detroit this year. Yeah.
Honestly, I think their defense, as if anything, in the last couple of years, it's almost gotten a little bit worse than it was. They have a lot of these forwards that are like sneaky good. I feel like people don't quite get how good, Lucas Raymond, Dylan Larkin, DeBrincat are, because at the end of the day, the team's not winning enough to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
And that makes people be like, well, how good can the guys on that team really be? So it's, you love to be able to give some of these guys a shout out when you can.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's always a good time. But that's the NHL's 3 stars of the week. Again, it's not ours, so don't come for us. Braden, I know you're pretty pumped about this next bit of news, so I'll let you hit us with that one. This is one that gets you feeling all warm and fuzzy.
Absolutely, it does. The PWHL has announced that they are getting rid of Coach's Challenge. They're getting rid of the Coach's Challenge altogether, and they are adding a fifth ref that is going to specifically be watching cameras to call penalties, overturn calls, review things like that. And I just really, really hope that the NHL is paying attention to that, because I got to imagine I've talked about it plenty of times on the podcast, but like, we got our hockey group chat, and like any of the guys on there, like anytime we're talking about a bad call in person, it always devolves down to, in the end, man, a lot of problems would be solved if you have one more ref who is watching the screens and can just in real time call down, whether they're sitting in the penalty box or up in the press box or in Toronto, wherever they are. Just have them watching, and before the teams have even finished doing the fist bumps, you can already have a guy be like, okay, the puck fully crossed the line. There was no goalie interference. It looked like a high stick at one point. I already reviewed it. There's no high stick. Like, you don't have to announce that they're reviewing it. Then they skate over. Then they look at the iPad for a while. Then they come back. There was no high stick. We have a good goal. Like, that's already been done, and they didn't even have to stop play further than just because there was a goal. Like, it's
Yeah. So the one thing
I'm excited for this.
Yeah, the one thing I will say that I think is a must if it does come to the NHL, and this is the way that I hope that the PWHL is going to do it, is to start implementing the headsets into the on ice refs' helmets.
Yeah,
because I think
give a little
you can have someone, the higher up, whoever's watching, the fifth ref watch from, they can relay it down to the timekeepers if they want, and they can do it to the refs, or they can just speak directly to the refs. But I don't want it to be where after every goal is scored, the refs got to go take off their helmet, put the headset on, and listen and be like, is it a good goal? Is it a good goal?
Yeah.
Like, immediately, if a goal is scored, they could tell them right away, good goal, play on as usual. If they see that it's not, be like, we've already reviewed it, it's not a goal. Or if they're saying we're still trying to determine, is this goal interference? Is this icing? Because again, it can't be just anybody watching. It still has to be an official referee.
Yeah.
Whether that's, you hire guys into that role who already have history of reffing, or some of your current on ice officials want to step into that role. But you just can't have it be after every goal, the ref's got to go and hop on a call to confirm. It's got to be instantaneous. Or again, if they're still reviewing, then they say, we're still reviewing it. Just say the call on the ice. The goal is under review, and then we'll figure it out, and then we'll get the game back going on. So I think there's a lot of potential for this.
Yeah, that's definitely one of the things that I do think would be very important for it. Like, there's all these weird little things about sports where just random things don't get changed because that's how it's been, and that's the best reasoning you'll get. Like, I completely forgot until I was watching the World Series a couple weeks ago, and they're changing the pitchers. Oh, we decided to change the pitcher. Guy goes over, grabs the rotary phone, and starts talking into it, and it's like, holy shit! Like, you're still doing that? You gotta go pick up the hunk of plastic and call in. Like,
they're just old school vibes.
And like, it's not like it messes with things too much. I mean, half the charm of baseball is it takes fucking forever. But they've already got the headset on for the refs. They mute their mic and stuff when they're announcing, and turn it on and mute it when they're talking to the crowd and all that. Just add another line in where Buddy can talk to you, and I'm really excited. I hope it works well in the PWHL. I hope it goes to every professional league for hockey. It's just it'll streamline things so much. You'll get more correct calls. You'll get more bad calls overturned. Like, it'll streamline the game and just make it better called. It seems like
and that's
everyone.
the thing. I
more
like
job opportunities as well. Like, it's hockey. These guys love hiring their friends. They fucking love hiring their buddies. That's That's a ton more
Yeah.
opportunities for that as well.
Yeah. The one thing as well, if you are going to do this, when you're announcing the officials before the game, you got to announce whoever this is. You can't just do
Yeah.
our anonymous ref or whatever, because then
Yeah,
that's just bullshit,
it's
and
not the
then
banker in Deal
it's
or No
cooked.
Deal. We gotta know.
Um, the other thing is aside from all the great things about the PWHL and the opportunities it gives to women and whatnot, one of my favorite things about the PWHL is it's kind of like I don't mean it this way, but it's the test dummy for the NHL in a way, because
Yeah.
the CHL, because it is, the WHL, the Q and the O, because it's junior players and younger players, they have to play within certain rules, and certain rules they cannot change. It has to go that way. The
Yeah.
AHL is connected to the NHL, so you can't try stuff out in the AHL and see if it works in the NHL, because players going up and down, you can't have different sets of rules in the way the game goes between both. The PWHL though is its own thing, and they can put something at this, and the NHL can watch and see, does this work? Is it effective? Is there any things that maybe aren't quite right with it that we could do better, or put changes to make it better? So they can now kind of review this and see, does it improve the on ice product? Does it hinder the on ice product? And they can decide whether or
Yeah.
not now if they want to follow suit with it. That being said, I know people want to see it. I really hope the NHL never brings in the jailbreak rule, though. That is the one thing that the PWHL can keep. I like it. It works over there well.
It's a really fun
But keep
rule.
it there. It's
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 a
fun there. I love
Yeah.
it there, but keep it away from the NHL.
I definitely agree on that. And that, that's why I was so excited that the PWHL picked this rule up, because they're one of the biggest influencing teams or influencing leagues on what might get brought to the NHL. We've even already seen, we covered
Mhm.
it earlier this year. The Players Association asked a bunch of players in their poll. One of the questions was, what rule from other leagues, mainly the PWHL, do you want to see
You want to see?
come over into the NHL? And
Yeah.
we got plenty of great responses from the players on that. So that's one reason, yeah, that this is so exciting. And I completely agree on the jailbreak rule as well. Just thinking of, like, you're playing a team like Florida, and Sam Bennett goes out there and sucker punches one of your guys, and even if you get the penalty, you're still pissed off. He still punched our guy, and that's fucking, like, awful. And then
Mhm.
imagine Brad Marchand goes out there and scores a shorty, and
Yeah.
now you're down a guy. They have a goal, and you don't even have the fucking power play. It's like
Yeah.
it's just a bit too much. Like,
Yeah.
I like the idea,
Absolutely.
it's fun, but at the same time, it it only stands to reward people who have already taken a penalty, and it feels like, if anything, we should be punishing those more, not less, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So I love that the PWHL is bringing this in. I think it is going to go over very well. They wouldn't be adding this in unless they were absolute sure. Because unfortunately, as much as we love the PWHL, as much as a lot of people do, they get a lot of criticism. They get a lot of unnecessary hate because it's women's hockey. And
Yeah.
it's unfortunate, but that's just the way the world is. Some people, you're never going to be able to change their opinion on it. Um, and so they wouldn't be putting this in unless they were absolute sure that they could, it's going to work really well. They wouldn't
Yeah.
put it in and be like, we're going to try it out. They've already tested it. They've probably already done all their due diligence on it, and they're implementing it now because they know it's going to work and it's going to be effective.
Yeah.
And so I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to see how it works, and I'm seeing how it can maybe change certain aspects of the game, and does it speed it up potentially at times? Does it slow it down? I'm looking forward to everything around it.
Yeah. The only thing I think that would be different is, I think if the NHL does implement this in the next few years, I think they will just bring in the extra ref. I don't think they will eliminate the coach's challenge. Maybe they'll limit it in some way, like, if you get a challenge wrong, you get a penalty and lose a, maybe you lose a timeout, maybe it's like football, where you get your one challenge and then your timeouts or something.
Hmm.
Maybe something like that, cuz the the reason that you get a delay of game in the first place in the NHL is that when they introduced the coach's challenge, teams were using it like a timeout. They
Yeah.
were challenging things that were not close, not related, like just random stuff to basically get a break. It was like an extra
Yeah,
timeout. And so they started penalizing you if you were wrong on it. So
yeah.
yeah, I would be
And I
interested to see if
almost
they would
think
balance that part of it.
the one thing that always does kind of scare me a little bit with stuff like this is because they say that like they're adding a fifth ref. I almost feel like it needs to be like two people doing it or something
Yeah.
because as well as I think it would work in the NHL, there's always that worry of a goal is scored, it's offside, but they don't quite see it and they don't quite notice. And they're like, no, it's a good goal. They end up saying offside, but then someone's like, no, here's proof offside, and then there's now that fifth ref is
Yeah.
they're trying to influence it for a certain team, and if it goes in a favor of Florida in a case, the people will be rioting all across the
Yeah.
league and whatnot. So there's always a little bit of worry with it, but more often than not, I think it's something that would be very beneficial to the game. And yeah, kind of like the coach's challenge is good, but it's gotten to the point now where some coaches are kind of just taking advantage of it to the point where it's like we got to get rid of it now.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Like
definitely wouldn't
we've
mind if they added
seen,
two people
yeah,
over watching them.
like how many times have we seen where a team's down, by one goal in the final like 2 minutes, the other team scores clear goal, like it's fine, but the coach is like, no, I'm going to challenge it anyways. For what? Offside, because they don't really know, but they're just challenging, hoping that they can find something
Yeah.
to get it called back. And it's like, okay, now we're only down by one,
Yeah.
right? Because
Because
like, well, if it's a good goal, we're already going to lose, so who cares about the penalty? But if it
you might
comes
as well
back,
try. Yeah.
we've got a chance now. So yeah, and then
Yeah.
they also kind of use it as like an extra timeout.
Yeah. So yeah, I would, and yeah, I would not mind if they added two extra people. Maybe you have one who every single time a goal is scored, they immediately go and double check it cross the line, even if it's power play one timer, back of the net, obvious. Like
Yeah,
have it. This is a multi-billion-dollar league. You can have one guy who double checks every goal just to make sure, right? Like,
yeah,
and that way you avoid like which Olympics was it where somebody took like this howitzer slap shot and it went through the net and play went on
yeah,
for like 3 minutes and then they were like, I think he scored. I think that went through the net. Like
yeah,
that would the buzzer would go off. You wouldn't have to wait and you wouldn't have to go back 5 minutes. Like
yeah.
yeah, it would just be really good for a number of reasons.
Absolutely, yeah. I'm all for it, and again, just excited to see how it works out in the PW.
Yeah. Um, we can move on from that now. Brundi, do you want to talk about Matthew Schaefer? We talk about this guy a lot, but he keeps giving us reasons to talk about him. We
Yeah,
can't stop talking
um,
about him.
yeah. The other night, Matthew Schaefer became the youngest player in NHL history to score an overtime winner at the age of 18 years and 70 days. The previous record was held by none other than Sidney Crosby when he was 18 years old and 101 days, and that was back on November 16th, 2005. When did Schaefer get his? His was like November 14th, 'cause I think it was on the Saturday. Was it the Saturday? Or
Yeah,
was it the
I think
Friday?
so. It might have been the Friday. I'm not sure, but
I can find it
either
here.
way, it's always
Like
cool seeing a
almost
young
exactly
player.
20 years to the day between Crosby doing it and now Schaefer doing it,
Yeah, like
which
it's
is
always so
pretty
cool
incredible.
seeing these guys, break these records to be the youngest player to do whatever. But when you do that, and the guy that you're beating out for that record is Crosby, that just makes it a little bit extra cool, like especially for Canadian boy there.
Yeah,
That's really cool.
absolutely.
And a defenseman no less. I believe he's now leading the sole goal leader uh for a defenseman in the league. Unless Makar scored a couple more in his last
No,
game or two.
I think he's top. I think he's number one still.
Having
Let
a
me
hell
check
of a year.
unless. Uh, um, yeah, he should. Yeah, still top for defenseman.
Um we already talked about Kirby Doc being out with a fractured foot. This next one is is rough.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Is it ever?
Jack Hughes expected to miss the next 8 weeks after undergoing surgery on his finger for a cut suffered at a team dinner. He allegedly, uh,
Yeah.
in what everybody who is there is calling a freak accident, apparently he was leaning on a glass and it broke. And I mean, he had to get surgery. He's out for 8 weeks. It must have been pretty freaking deep or cut a tendon or something.
Yeah, had to have been a pretty bad cut if it's going to result in him, they say the next 8, but it sounds like it's probably about, 8 to 10. And yeah, if you're getting surgery on
Yep.
your finger, it had to have been a pretty bad cut. Absolutely.
God damn it, man. Like this is so
There's so much.
goofy. This is such a goofy instance for this to happen. Uh it would already be incredibly like meme worthy if it's any superstar in the league. The fact that it had to happen to Jack Hughes when he's stringing together finally a healthy season. He's had so many injury troubles. He looks great this year. The Devils are kicking so much ass. And now he's going to miss 2 months ish because he was like
Yeah.
I keep hearing everywhere that he was leaning on a glass and it broke. What the
Yeah.
fuck does that mean, dude? So what? So what? He's got his glass, it's sitting on the table, and he's chatting to his boys, and what? He's like got his legs crossed and he's like leaning on it like this, putting his body weight on
Yeah.
it. Cause like not only does it break, the glass has to go into his hand bad enough to like damage it, that it needs surgery. So clearly he's
Yeah.
got a good amount of body weight.
A good amount
And
of
he's
weight
just
on it.
he's leaning on glass, and that's I don't remember the last time we had an injury this severe for
Yes.
something this just random.
And again, it goes back to what we've talked about beginning of this season, over the off season, even last year, and before that. Is Jack Hughes, and can he stay healthy? And now it's not even hockey related. It's an off ice thing that caused him to now be out for 8 weeks. Like that's 2 months. He's not back till January.
Yeah.
Um, in because this is now his 7th season in the NHL. Jack Hughes has only played 65 or more games in one of those years, as he won't reach that mark this year. And obviously, part of it is the COVID shortened seasons, but it's a big injury every year that forces him to miss 20 plus games. And it kind of goes back to when we did our top 50 list, which you can only find on YouTube. Don't look for it here. Go look on YouTube and look at that one. It's why we couldn't
Yeah.
put him higher because it's skill level alone, top 10 player in the league. But if he's only a guy that you're getting for 50 to 55 games a season, you can't
That's
say
not
he's a
as good.
top 10 player in the league because there's other guys that end up putting up more points than him because they can log a full 82 games. When they get to the playoffs, they're there in the playoffs. And that's the unfortunate part with Jack Hughes is, again, incredible player, super fun to watch, but it's just it's always an injury or something. And then this one is kind of the icing on the cake that he's looking healthy out there, he's playing good, looking good, it's awesome. And then
Team's
it's shit
great.
like this. Like a fucking team
At
dinner.
a
It was a
team dinner,
birthday
man.
party for a guy at Barstool, Frank the Tank, who is a diehard Devils fan and seems like a cool dude. I don't know him personally, never will. Um,
To be a fly on the
what
wall
do you do?
there
You
when that happened,
fucking
man.
lean on a
Oh my
glass
god.
and just cut your hand? Like fuck, man.
I like he's probably the human on the planet that felt the fucking stupidest that day in the entire world. Like, oh my god.
Yeah, like I don't know how does that happen, man. It's
The phrase wrap this guy in bubble wrap gets thrown around a decent bit in sports, but like you might actually have to wrap this guy in bubble wrap. Bro, like you're gonna have to get him an assistant to cut his steak for him and shit.
yeah.
Like he's gonna be drinking out of a plastic cup from now on. Like it's so brutal. Before the season, I said like I don't believe he's a guy that's injury prone. The way a lot of them have happened, I think he's just been unlucky. Kind of like Stamkos, the he
Mhm.
breaks his leg on the goalpost, then he had a blood clot, then he had a couple other things. Like a lot of them just felt like bad luck.
Yeah.
And does this lean more towards he's injury prone or bad luck? Like,
This one is definitely bad luck. But again, it's like again, it's like, yeah, if you're leaning on a glass, it's like you gotta be smarter than that. Like, not
we
saying
could
Jack
have,
Hughes is dumb or anything, but if you're leaning on a glass and putting your full body weight that the glass, because like, yeah, it's glass, but glasses are still pretty strong. Like, you still gotta be putting some good weight on it for it to just
yeah,
break like that, and then your hand just slam down on it. Just a very weird, goofy situation, honestly. Just
yeah,
very bizarre.
yeah, incredibly bizarre. Like when that first news first broke, before we knew how bad it was, anything had happened. Just everywhere I looked, all the quotes were guys being like "freak accident," like "one in a million," like this has never happened and won't happen again. Like everyone was
Yeah,
just like, "What the fuck? What's going on? Like, am I being pranked?" So
yeah,
yeah, it's so weird, and it sucks that it's happening to a young guy who's so skilled and obviously trying to be healthier. Yeah.
yeah. It's
Maybe a guy
tough
potentially
for
who
New
has,
Jersey.
yeah, a guy who just has a little bit more hockey IQ than he does off ice IQ, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. It's something, man. It's tough for New
But
Jersey, though. It really is.
yeah,
I feel for him.
yeah. But you got to imagine there's a like a 95% chance he's completely fully recovers once he's back. His hand will be all
Oh
right.
yeah,
It's just
yeah,
sounds like it was just his hand, obviously, and yeah,
yeah. It's not like you get a concussion, then you're more prone to concussions or something. Like you get the surgery, it heals up, and you're fine.
yeah. A part of the
Honestly.
body that generally isn't too much at risk when you're playing hockey.
Yeah,
Like if it's an arm, that usually it's the shoulder, or maybe a tendon higher up, maybe your wrist, but the actual hand itself, that's usually reserved for a lot of defensemen blocking shots and stuff. Like
yeah,
obviously his hands are very important to his game. He's an incredible shooter and deker, but you know
yeah,
that should all fully recover. So that part at least is good.
for sure. Yeah, absolutely.
If you're confident in making the playoffs as a fantasy hockey player, might be a little bit of a sneaky pickup. People are
That
like,
should be
"Oh,
if someone's ready to
if
ship him out.
if the guy who has Jack Hughes has a losing record so far, maybe he's looking to put together some more wins, and he's like, I just need to make the playoffs. I gotta pick up a guy who can be good now. Might be able to get a guy like Jack Hughes who will be good going into the fantasy playoffs.
Absolutely, yeah.
I've already been turned down, but maybe you out there won't.
No, not a surprise there. I think all that's left is I think we just got one final segment here.
I believe so.
Um, if you actually want to hit us with I don't know, just maybe current stats or something, I just have to run in. I wrote it down for this and I forgot to bring it. So give me like 2 seconds and I'll be
Okay.
back with that.
Hell yeah. All right. Well, I guess I got to vamp a little bit. So yeah, let's do the top scorers currently in the league, because it's been a little bit since we did that. We got wow, look at its usual suspects up there. Um the league leaders currently in points. We got Nathan McKinnon at 33, Connor McDavid at 30. Man, he's really shot up lately and caught up, because he was a good bit back for a while. Uh Celebrini still hanging in there at 27 points. And Pasternak, Bedard, Leo Carlson, Mikko Rantanen, and William Nylander all tied at 26. Uh, I'm going to mention him too. Cale Makar at 25. I mean, he's a defenseman, so that's pretty impressive from him. Goal scoring leaders, man, you got a bunch of guys and then a couple that stick out. You got goal scoring leaders: 14 for Nathan McKinnon, 13 for Natchez, Caulfield, and Draisaitl. Expect all of those. Then with 12, you've got Morgan Geeky, Bo Horvat, Cutter Gauthier, Kiefer Sherwood, Sidney Crosby, and Brad Marchand. There are some names you wouldn't quite expect that high up in the goal scoring department.
A lot of good
Wow,
players.
the Avs have 4 of the top 5 for plus minus. McKinnon, Lehkonen, Makar, and Aegis. I guess that makes sense. Scott Wedgwood has 11 wins on the season, and then there's a million different guys tied at 8. Scott Wedgwood, I'm hearing a couple things. Some people are starting to argue maybe he should play for Team Canada. I don't know if the skill's necessarily there, but I mean, if he can win with the Avs in front of him, why can't he win with Team Canada?
I mean, true. Yeah.
11,
I hear the
2,
argument for
9,
absolutely,
17.
but
He's at
he's
least
having a
making an
great year.
argument.
And a new contract.
Yeah.
Nice
And
little-
save percentage leaders, Logan Thompson with a 925, a man who should be on Team Canada. Spencer Knight, 924. And Wedgwood and Seelovs both tied at 917.
Decent.
Some solid
Decent, yeah.
solid leaders right now. Do the Penguins have 3 different goalies with a shutout? No goalie in
I
the
think
league
so now,
right
yeah.
now. No goalie has 2 shutouts. There's a laundry list of guys all tied with 1. But Jari's got one, Seelovs has one, and then I think the other day they had some kid get called up and he got a shutout in the Global Series.
In Sweden, yeah. Yeah, so they're up to 3.
Wouldn't have guessed by before American Thanksgiving the Penguins would have 3 different goalies with a shutout.
Penguins are on fire this year. Dan Muse is putting in the work. We
Incredible
highlighted
effort
that
there.
in the last episode as well. If you want to go check that out. All right, we can move on into this final segment now. I am ready for it because
Oh, thank God.
today we got a new game. We have a brand new game that we are bringing to the podcast
game.
here.
Hell yeah.
I am
You got
going
a
to
you got a
call
fun
this
name for it?
one. Yeah, Player Blender.
I love it.
And I got the idea from a friend the other day. We were talking, and he saw a thing, and not this exact one, but similar in the concept of the idea.
Okay.
So what it is I've got 2 players. They don't necessarily have to be active players, but I've got 2 players. I'll give you a little bio for each of the 2 players, and you got to figure out the 2 players. But here's the thing: their names blend together.
Okay.
So I'll give you
Their
the 2
names-
players. You got to figure out who the 2 players are, and
The
then
names
once you have the
blend
2
together.
yeah, once you have the 2 players for this one, it'll make a lot more sense of what I mean
Okay.
when I say they literally blend together.
Okay. Do you want to give me an example of names that would blend together? Or do you want me to just see if we can figure it out on this first one?
See if you can figure it out, because there's
Okay.
only so many I think we can do for this game. Hence why I said it doesn't necessarily always have to be active players, because
Expands the player pool.
it's kind of hard
include.
to do.
Right.
Exactly. But once you get it, you'll totally understand. And this is a game everybody at home can play along. It'll all
Okay.
make sense once
If-
this is the first run of it. But
Okay. If it's what I think it is, I already have like one in mind. There's no way that it's those 2 players, but
okay,
we'll see.
I'll give you the first player here. Their bio reads: I've been involved in a massive blockbuster trade where I'm now currently playing on my 2nd NHL team, where I still use the same iconic number. I am already confirmed to be playing in the Olympics this February. So that is the first player.
The first part made sense for one of the guys I was thinking beforehand. There's no way I picked the 2 guys at the start. Do you know which teams have confirmed players already on their teams? Is it just like the Big 4 mainly for the Olympics?
I can't say.
Okay.
Can't say. I know
guy-
quite a few teams have, though. Quite a few teams have
Okay.
listed it.
The guy
I
I'm
don't know
thinking of
the
is not
exact
in the
ones.
4 Nations, one of those teams. So
Okay.
is why I asked.
The second player. I only played for 2 NHL teams in my career. During this time with one team, I was part of the most iconic lines in the league at the time. I am second all time in a recorded stat, not points wise. I am now retired and took in one of the league's best young players. That is for player number 2.
Okay, so I think I know player number 2. You said he's second all time in a counting stat.
Yeah.
A non-offensive counting stat, or not points related at least. Okay, so now I'm thinking that's Matt Martin because he took in Schaefer, I believe.
Okay.
The first one that I was thinking of before, that was my original thought. I was thinking Timo Scott Niedermeyer. I don't even know if that's what you mean by blending the names. But then you said he's on his second team, involved in a blockbuster trade. He might already be confirmed with team. I believe he's Swiss.
Okay, I see where your head's at. Okay.
And I was like, Niedermeyer, is he second in a stat? What, like cross checks in front of the net or something? So I think that's not it. I think Matt Martin, the first player involved in a blockbuster trade, already confirmed on their team. So they must be obviously a current player, good enough that they've been announced for one of these top teams. Matt Martin, and I mean, who would be like Matt Marner?
No,
Oh, I kind of thought
no,
I had it. I don't know
no.
if his was really a blockbuster. I mean, it was because he was traded, but
Marner also switched numbers too.
that's true. You did say that he kept his number.
Kept the same number.
He kept his same number when he moved teams.
Was Marner one of the guys already confirmed for Team Canada even?
You know what? I don't think
Because I'm thinking through it. I'm like
no,
Crosby,
he's
McDavid,
Crosby,
Point,
McDavid, Point, Reinhart, McCarr,
McCarr.
McKinnon.
Yeah,
So
yeah. So he's not even confirmed. Sounds like Vegas got fleeced.
I've been hearing a lot of fun uh, mock projections for what Team Canada is going to be. A
Okay.
lot of people have a third line that includes, like Hagel, Celebrini, Marner, or something. That sounds pretty fucking fun. That sounds pretty good to me.
Okay, so you think you've got Matt Martin? You're still
Yeah.
trying to figure out the second player.
Matt Martin. So I'm trying to think like no, Austin Matthews hasn't been traded. Mikko Rantanen's got to be confirmed for Team Finland. Rantanen.
Don't see how those
Ah,
two work together.
yeah, I'm not sure.
You're kind of on the right track with Mikko Rantanen.
I'm gonna assume that means probably a Finnish guy or maybe somebody who's on the Stars. No,
Mm,
Matt Martinachis.
close. The full thing though.
Oh, Matt Martinachis.
There you go. It's
Okay.
the two names come right
Okay.
together as one. They literally just blend as
Yeah.
one. So there you go. You got it. Matt
Okay.
Martin Natchez is
Yeah.
the two players blended there.
Okay.
It's a little bit of a
Originally,
tricky one, but it's that was kind of just a
Yeah.
trial run for it, and now
Okay.
I did kind of like your Timo Scott Niedermeyer one though. That's kind of cool actually.
Yeah. Well, so that was the first thing that I could think of that came to my mind. And then when you said he was involved in a big trade, I was like, there's no way that's actually it.
That you actually got it. Yeah.
I do like those games where you combine the words though. So that's
Yeah.
I don't mind that. I would definitely be down for that game coming back, making a return.
Yeah, and it's because it's one of those ones where it's always just three names. It's one player, and then it
The
goes
first
into
and
another
last
player.
name mix
Yeah.
somewhere. I did think I thought for a bit it might be like Matt Martin St. Louis for a bit, but I was
Hmm?
because he was involved in a blockbuster trade, and I wasn't sure if he was invited as a coach to Team Canada, but I was pretty sure that he wasn't. And also,
Feel like we would have
I,
heard if you did, yeah.
I would say, I'm pretty sure you said he. Did you say that they were actively playing? I'm not sure if you said if they were confirmed as a
For who?
player or not
For
for
Matt
St.
Martin.
Louis.
Oh. Yeah, well, because that would have been for the. Oh, no, yeah, for Martin H. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah, that's a good one though. I like that game
yeah, I thought that was fun, and it's something new we can add to the
to the
program
rotation.
here every now and then. But I do believe that's it for this episode. Not a super long one. Actually, no, still an hour 10. That's fine. Someone's
Oh,
got
that's
a
just
problem with
dandy.
that. Well, I don't know. Throw us hate comments in the YouTube or something. Like
Yeah,
couldn't care less if we get hate comments.
just yell at me.
Yeah, just scream at us. Why not? But that is it for this episode. Once again, thank you everybody for tuning in. If you want to let us know your thoughts on the episode, what you liked, maybe what you didn't like, what you want to see more of. If we missed anything, feel free to let us know. That's it for this one. Braden, Saskatchewan Rough Riders are Grey Cup champions, but I must ask you final thoughts.
Final thoughts. Canadians, go out, get yourself a second line center. Do it before it's too late. Do it before some of the options are gone. There's going to be plenty of teams knocking on the door for especially Nazem Kadri. I think that's just too good of a fit for them to pass up. Like you said, with the whole Demidov thing as well, giving him a bit more of a trigger guy. It makes a lot of sense. You don't need Michael Haig. Like you don't need him as much as you need a guy like Kadri right now.
Yeah.
Do yourselves a favor, go buy on him. They would
Yeah,
love
I
him in
agree.
the Bell Center. They would love him too.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, I agree with everything you said. I love it. But that is it for this episode. One final time. Hope well enjoyed. And as always, we will see all of you weird people out on the ice later this week.